come back to yourself. Stop losing yourself in experience. Come back to yourself, taste yourself again, know yourself again. And as you do so, you will realize experientially, even if you don't formulate it to yourself, that I am colorless, transparent, empty, silent, still, at peace.
If I were to ask you what kind of person are you, you'd probably give me a very abstract answer of the person you were in the last 6 months, and that's because we often get lost in different experiences. And documentation is actually a way of fixing this, of remembering different parts of who we were and revisiting the values that make up who we are. So there's two ways that I document. One is through journaling, which is an internal way of documenting. And then the second one is, making video, recording, things like this, which is an external way of documenting. I've been journaling for well over a year now in the Daily Stoic. And the most important thing that this has taught me is to reflect and conceptualize each season of my life so that I remember different phases and periods I go through. And it actually forces me to do things different ways. So for example, let's say you're used to doing one thing a certain way. Let's say you're someone that finds it very hard to open up to others, okay? And you're in a relationship and you're having problems with your girl because you can't open up. Because this is something that I struggle with. Journaling through this, writing will actually manifest itself into answers. So if you ask yourself, why do I struggle with this? Why am I experiencing these negative emotions? You force yourself to actually write stuff down until you get to the core of the issue. And that's what the first lesson of documenting internally has taught me. Reflecting, conceptualizing these different things has made me try different ways around my problems and actually has helped me grow as a person. The second thing that documentation gave me through journaling is it gives me a time capsule to the past. So when I get to look and read through different parts of my life, like for example, when I was going through monk mode, I was very extreme at that sense. I was cutting people off. I was just doing these really unnecessary things, but it was necessary for me at the time. I find it unnecessary now because I'm in a different stage in my life. So reading through that and seeing my mindset through it and how I grew as a person, it's just such a beautiful thing to have that time capsule. Not only this, when I go on vacations, I used to go on vacations, come back and just remember it as oh, that was nice. But when I actually journal and document my vacation, I read back through my trip in Portugal I had a couple of years ago. And it was just one of the best trips of my life. I got to actually read it from beginning to end and kind of relive that. So that's what documenting through journaling has done for me. The creativity of making YouTube videos or just documenting myself on video is such a spiritual journey because it forces you to choose a certain lifestyle to live by, because you can't make content without experience. In order to make content, you have to go out and put yourself in the world, make those mistakes, and then reflect on those mistakes and then share it on camera. So it's a very spiritual journey in terms of growth, in terms of mindset, in terms of just getting better. And that's why I became a self-improvement YouTuber, because it helps me be accountable for myself and it helps me be accountable for you guys. So it was just such a beautiful journey in terms of putting all of this hard work into one thing, moving on to the next. And I used to care so much about the results. My identity was so into the results of the views and whatever. But I had a mental breakdown recently because when I identified as a successful entrepreneur or YouTuber, whatever that means, whenever I didn't get the result I wanted or expected, I would suffer. So now I look at this thing as a very spiritual journey, and whatever happens with it happens in terms of the bonuses, but it actually gives you a lot of more internal growth than you realize. It's not about getting an audience. It's not about yeah, it is superficially, but the beautiful thing about documenting is the internal growth you get from it. And the last thing that documentation has taught me through video is that it taught me to build a garden to attract people instead of chasing a butterfly. What this basically means is I used to chase friendships and chase girls, and I would never get the relationship. I would never get that friendship. But when I took a pause and just focused on myself and started documenting through videos, it actually attracted such amazing people into my life. People now want to connect with me. They want to invite me to their podcast. They want to talk to me online. And I've made such great friendships because you don't realize how many people are like-minded like you in different countries living their own lives. I made some of the best connections, some of the best friendships, and have had some of the best talks. Honestly, I found out so much about myself just connecting with these amazing people online. So that's what documenting has done for me on my journey. I hope this video is the sign for you to actually start documenting your journey, whether it's through journaling, through video, or even photography, whatever it is worth it. And yeah, I just hope I can share some value from my experience on this channel. Till next time, guys.